Welcome to our channel, where history, science, and faith come together to reveal the hidden truths of our past. Today, we're diving into one of the most mysterious and fascinating puzzles in the world of genetics, the enigma of ancient Israelite DNA. Who were the original Israelites? Where did they come from? And can modern science actually trace their DNA across time and continents? Get ready for an unforgettable journey through ancient scriptures, archaeological evidence, and cutting-edge genetics. What we uncover might just change how you see history, and even your own identity. Let's get started. But before we do so, let's address a simple question. Who were the ancient Israelites? To understand ancient Israelite DNA, we first need to understand who the Israelites were. The Israelites were a group of people mentioned throughout the Bible. They were descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob was later called Israel, and his 12 sons became the 12 tribes of Israel. According to the Bible, the Israelites lived in Egypt for hundreds of years, eventually becoming slaves. Moses later led them out of Egypt during the famous Exodus. They wandered in the desert and eventually settled in the land of Canaan, what we now call Israel and Palestine. The Israelites built kingdoms, fought battles, and developed a unique religious identity based on the worship of one God, Yahweh. Over time, their history was marked by exile, war, and dispersion. But here's the challenge. Most of what we know about ancient Israel comes from written texts. We don't have many physical remains of individual Israelites, and definitely no labeled graves saying this was a Levite or this was from the tribe of Judah. So how do scientists even begin to trace their DNA? That's where ancient DNA studies come in. Let's break it down. DNA, or deoxyribonucleic acid, is the material inside our cells that carries our genetic information. It's what makes you you. It's passed down from your parents and contains clues about your ancestry. Ancient DNA is the genetic material recovered from the bones, teeth, and hair of people who lived long ago, sometimes thousands of years ago. But studying ancient DNA isn't easy. Over time, DNA breaks down. Heat, moisture, and bacteria can destroy it. That's why scientists often search for it in dry places, caves, or burial sites where preservation is more likely. To find ancient Israelite DNA, scientists have analyzed bones and teeth from burial sites across Israel, the Levant, modern-day Syria, Lebanon, and Jordan, and even from ancient Egypt and Iraq. Once DNA is recovered, it's compared to modern populations. Scientists look for matches, patterns, and unique genetic markers that can link people together across time. The big question is, can we find a unique Israelite signature in the DNA record? The answer isn't simple, but it's fascinating. Let's keep going. One of the most important discoveries in recent years came from the ancient city of Sidon in modern-day Lebanon. Researchers recovered DNA from people buried there over 3,500 years ago. These individuals were Canaanites, people who lived in the region before the Israelites. Here's where it gets interesting. The DNA of these Canaanites is very similar to modern-day people in Lebanon, Syria, Israel, and Palestine. What does this mean? It suggests that the Israelites who settled in Canaan likely intermarried with local people. They didn't completely replace them, they blended with them. In fact, many scholars now believe the Israelites didn't come from a single foreign land. Instead, they may have been a group of tribes already living in the land of Canaan who gradually developed a distinct identity and religion. This view matches what we see in the DNA record. There's no sudden genetic change between Canaanites and early Israelites. So while the Bible gives us a powerful spiritual story, genetics tells a more complex, layered story of cultural evolution and mixing. But there's more. Some DNA markers do stand out, and they might point to specific Israelite tribes. Let's explore that next. Among Jewish men today, there's a group called the Kohanim or Kohanim. These are men believed to be descended from Aaron, the brother of Moses, and the first high priest of Israel. For centuries, this priestly status has been passed down from father to son. But can science confirm this ancient lineage? Surprisingly, yes. In the 1990s, scientists began studying the Y chromosomes of Jewish men who identified as Kohanim. They discovered something amazing. A large number of them shared a unique Y chromosome pattern, later called the Cohen Modal Haplotype, or CMH. This pattern was found across Jewish communities, Ashkenazi, Sephardic, Mizrahi, all over the world. What does this mean? It strongly suggests that many Kohanim really do share a common male ancestor, one who lived about 3,000 years ago, around the time of the biblical Aaron. This finding shocked many people. It was the first real scientific evidence connecting modern Jews to an ancient biblical figure through DNA. But it also raised more questions. Could other tribes have similar markers? Could the descendants of the 12 tribes still exist today, hidden in plain sight? Let's now explore how Jewish DNA spread after the fall of ancient Israel. Around 722 BC, the Assyrian Empire conquered the northern kingdom of Israel. Many Israelites were taken away, and their fate became one of history's greatest mysteries. These are often called the 10 lost tribes of Israel. Later, in 586 BC, the Babylonians conquered the southern kingdom of Judah and destroyed the first temple. More Jews were exiled, this time to Babylon. Eventually, many returned, but others stayed in exile. Then came the Roman destruction of the Second Temple in 70 AD, which led to another massive scattering. From then on, Jewish communities spread across the globe, to Europe, North Africa, Persia, Yemen, and beyond. As they spread, their DNA spread too. Yet despite centuries of migration, persecution, and intermarriage, many Jewish groups today still share common genetic markers, especially on the Y chromosome, passed from father to son, and mitochondrial DNA, passed from mother to child. This genetic continuity is remarkable. It shows that Jewish identity, both cultural and biological, was preserved over thousands of years. And today, thanks to modern DNA testing, people all over the world are discovering they may have Jewish or even Israelite ancestry they never knew about. That brings us to our next point. Did you know that some African, Asian, and even Native American communities have oral histories claiming descent from ancient Israelites? DNA testing has uncovered some surprising results. For example, the Lemba people of southern Africa have customs similar to Jewish traditions, like kosher laws and circumcision. DNA studies show that some Lemba men carry the same Cohen Modal Haplotype seen in Jewish Kohanim. In India, a group called the Bene Israel claims descent from shipwrecked Jews. Genetic studies show they share markers with Middle Eastern Jewish populations. In China, the ancient Kaifeng Jewish community, now nearly extinct, showed Jewish roots in both tradition and DNA. Even in the Caribbean and Latin America, some people with Spanish ancestry are discovering through DNA that they descend from Sephardic Jews who were forced to convert or flee during the Spanish Inquisition. This hidden heritage is being revealed by modern science, and it's changing how people see themselves and their place in history. But what about the ancient Israelites? Are we any closer to solving the enigma? Let's wrap this up. So far, science has shown us that the ancient Israelites likely had roots in the Canaanite population. Over time, they developed a distinct identity shaped by religion, culture, and a shared story. Some specific lineages, like the priestly Cohen line, can be traced with surprising accuracy. Despite exile and migration, Jewish genetic identity has remained remarkably strong across continents and centuries. And in some cases, traces of ancient Israelite DNA have turned up in unexpected places, from Africa to Asia to the Americas. But can we define a single Israelite DNA type? Not exactly, because ancient Israel was never a racially pure society. They mixed with Egyptians, Canaanites, Babylonians, and others. Their strength was in their faith, culture, and covenant, not in a perfect DNA code. So while genetics can give us powerful clues, it's only part of the story. The real legacy of the Israelites is more than just blood. It's belief, tradition, and identity passed through generations. And today, millions of people, Jewish and non-Jewish alike, are discovering how they connect to that ancient story in ways they never imagined. Finally, the enigma of ancient Israelite DNA is not fully solved, and maybe it never will be. But through science, we've peeled back some of the mystery. We've seen how bones buried thousands of years ago can speak. We've seen how tradition can match genetics in surprising ways. And we've seen how the story of the Israelites still matters, not just in religion or history books, but in the very DNA of people alive today. Maybe you've taken a DNA test. Maybe you felt a connection to the ancient Middle East, or to Jewish culture, or to the Bible. Whatever the reason, you are part of a much bigger story, a story that continues. Thank you for joining us today on this fascinating journey. If you found this video interesting, please take a moment to like the video to support the channel, subscribe so you never miss future explorations like this one, and share it with someone who loves history, science, or biblical mysteries. Tell us in the comments below, have you discovered anything surprising about your ancestry? Share your experiences in the comments section below. We want to hear from you. Until next time, stay curious and stay connected to your roots. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.